I live yet? Let me just check. It appears that I am live. Good stuff. Let's get all the nonsense stuff done. Mute that crap. Hey. Mute that crap. Hey. Pretty central. Quality looks alright. Alright, well, meantime like the present. So, the whole point of this live stream is because I got a really nifty gift for my birthday, which was in March, and I still haven't really gotten to grips with it until recently, and I decided to have a bit of a play around with the materials. I've been watching a channel on and off called 3D Pen Lab, and it's basically a guy with a 3D pen, and he makes like sort of pop culture figures. You know, the last one was Mr. Poopy Butthole, so love that one. But it's one of those things that I think, if applied properly, could be a really useful crafting tool. But not so much just the pen, the actual stuff itself, the PLA PLA filament is the same stuff that they use for like 3D printing and stuff. I'm not sure about the grades of this stuff or whatever, but I mean, you know, it's pretty cool. It responds to heat, obviously. That's how the whole thing works. The pen heats the filament, guides it through, then extrudes it through the end. So I was experimenting with some of this stuff, which is the clear filament, and doing a little bit of almost injection moulding. I've got some Fimo, and this is a trick that I didn't invent. I nicked it from 3D Pen Lab, and it was something I'd thought about doing but not actually done. Got some polymer clay and basically made a relief mould. I don't know if you can actually see that. Just checking for lag here. Oh yeah, you can see that, that's alright. And it was just a crap skeleton model. This thing, you know, the ones that are bendy, and there's the one that's like, hey, with the sword. He's a bit camp, but you know, camp skeletons on the battlefield, watch out. But yeah, I did just a quick press mould of his face, and basically hit it with the hot air gun. So, I mean, like proper hot air gun. I mean, this thing's like, you know, it's 1,000 or 2,000 water. Oh, still got it plugged in. Good job I wasn't looking at it. But this thing gets hot real quick. So you could basically bake the polymer clay that in the oven. It's like, oh yes, you need to be at 110 for half an hour. And you've got to heat up the whole oven, and it takes like 45 minutes just to get something out, and then you've got to wait for it to cool cure. And it's like, So I was like, sod that, baking tray, heat gun, just like the guy on 3D Pen Lab, and it worked just fine. I mean, I hit it a little bit too close and pickled some of the outside, but the actual press mold part in the middle that I want the detail from is fine. So this was a success. Don't know where anything's gone because I've just tidied up. Why do I always tidy up? But anyway, did a few different trials. I mean, some of them are a bit, you probably won't be able to see this because of the quality of the stream. Just check. That just looks like a clear raisin, doesn't it? But yeah, so that printed out alright. A couple more. Got one that I've hit with a load of chrome pens. That looks like the Terminator robot. What was that? T1000. There we go. Thank you, autofocus. I mean, I also got a little bit creative, shall we say. Let's see if the battery's working. Hey, there we go. So this is the clear stuff, the clear PLA, been pumped into a press mould, attached to essentially tea light guts. I've soldered it straight on. Butchered this LED out of some string lights that I just had in the drawer. I mean, I've got a whole like drawer full of like electrical guts and stuff here. You know, it'll all get used eventually. But I found this cool little trick, because the flickering LEDs that come with these are basically, I don't know, they've got some kind of weird diode or something in them other than the light emitting type, and when you put voltage through it, it changes the output of the voltage, changing the brightness. But if you close the circuit with one of these in it, it also affects the voltage for the other. So one gets brighter, the other one gets dimmer, and you know, that makes for a pretty cool effect. They also double up if it's just the flickering LEDs. You can get a real good crackle effect, which I'll be putting in one of my future videos, hopefully, if I ever get one produced. Honestly, it's been an absolute nightmare producing videos, so I'm very limited by technology. Anyway, cheers. There's a giant pug mug of tea. Oh, damn. Right. So, what was I going to say? I better turn that off, hadn't I? Before I run out of batteries. So, there's another cool thing that PLA filament does. I'm just going to have a quick check to see what the stream is doing before I go on about it. As much as I love talking to myself, I don't intend to talk to myself forever if no one is watching. Alright, straighten that out a bit. Sorry about that. Bear with me a second. Right. I should really empty this water. Got a pint of water just sat here looking grimy. I think I ended up washing one of my brushes in it by accident. But either way, it's all good fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat that shit up. So this is the Polaroid Play, which is a nice play on the PLA, and my missus kindly brought me like a huge amount of the actual PLA that goes through it, in all sorts of different colours, which is pretty cute. It comes with this sort of thing so you can like doodle onto it and like not scratch anything. I'm not quite sure how to put it together. I will worry about that another time. So what I'm looking for is some grey filament. I mean, I know I've got the white, which I'll keep out anyway. I did organise it all and now I'm just ruining it all. Got black, brown, dark green, luminescent, fluorescent, transparent. Ooh, I've got more transparent down there. Haha, that's good news. Yes, grey. Got some grey filament. Right. Yeah, there's a weird thing with this. Apparently this stuff has a use by date, but I don't seem to be able to find it on the packets anymore, which is a little bit weird. Ah, my knee! Fun fact, guys, if you bang your knee on the desk won't hurt, but your knee will. Right, so now my PLA is freed from the shackles of packaging. I'm going to attempt to do something fun. Don't want all that on there. Right, so quite specific in the instructions that it has to go in perfectly straight, so you have to cut it with a pair of scissors. You can't do it with a pair of side cutters. Now, I've not actually looked into how much this stuff actually costs because it was a present and it's a bit rude, but I might actually just see if Amazon stocks it and at what price. While that's happening, I will doesn't want to feed in today. So, just make sure I'm still there. Yes, I am. There we go, got to wait for all the clear to come out. It's still set on the highest setting, so it's pumping out tons. So I think that's pretty much pure grey coming out now. Yeah, that's it. So, stick that grab to one side. So I'm just looking at 3D pen filament, 16 colours, 20 feet each, with the stencil books, $9.99 with Prime. God, so this stuff is actually pretty cheap, which is nice to know. I think my missus bought the actual official stuff, which is Gordon Bennett. Bit more pricing, but yeah, like it's the same junk, same stuff, cause that window save my bandwidth. Cheers. So, one thing I will do very, very quickly is say that when you're using these press molds, you do have to heat them up a little bit first, because otherwise you'll find that the PLA goes in and immediately cools on the surface, which is not what you want. So, excuse the noise. Oh no! Let's help me plug things in. that's the meaning of life. Actually, yeah, it's a bit warmer, so let's see how it gets on. Keep that crap off and pump it in. So I tend to start with the area of most detail, then push up to an area that doesn't have so much detail, like the forehead, because this is a skull. Right, so what I'll do is just pinch the back so I can get it out a little bit. And it stays quite flexible for a little while. Nice thing is that as it cools, it retracts a little bit, so you should be able to pull it straight out of the mould in about 10 seconds. Distorted it a little bit. It's still quite hot and being a bit overzealous here, but I'm hoping you can actually see that okay. Come on, autofocus. Yeah, that's fine. So in the grey you can see the relief a lot better, but I think, is it grey or is this silver? It might be silver, but it's grey enough. It shows up the detail pretty well. So, you know, and like, you know, this stuff is like rock hard once it cures. So you can be pretty rough with it. As you saw, the press mold works really, really well. It takes like 5 minutes to heat some stuff up. But yeah. Another cool thing that this stuff does. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? I can't find it. Either way, I will press on with the whole reel. So the white stuff, I've had an idea, and it looks quite cool. So what you can do with this stuff is, because it responds to heat, you can just heat it up and do stuff with it. So if you, for instance, wanted to make miniature candles, like these, it's pretty damn easy. I'm not sure how well you can actually see that, but you know, they look pretty good in IRL. In real life, they are pretty cute. Oh, I found the bit I was looking for. So, you know, what we need to do is let me draw you closer. Bear with me a second. Just gotta make sure I'm still straight now, W. Have a nice quick view of my room. Yeah, everything seems to be working. It's my monitor. So I'll reboot that. There we go. Just press this out. Make sure it doesn't go to sleep. Aha, so I am still working. So what you need to do is straighten this stuff out, and then just like, don't get the flame too close. You just need to like get it so that it just starts to heat the end up and just shape it a little. So get a little bit closer. There we go, and then stick it down on a hard surface, preferably something cold, because it will cure and stay where you put it pretty much instantly. Okay, so see how it's got like a little disc, like a foot on the end of it. That's pretty useful. So that sort of represents like when the candle sort of like gone and run down itself a little bit. So for this candle, I'm going to snip it off about here. So I've got a little bit to work with, but not much. And it's pretty much the same thing for the top. So you do is just heat it up. This is where I burn myself tragically on YouTube Live. Although I am currently the only one observing this, so never mind. I mean, I'd usually be a little bit more carefree with how I heat this, but I really don't want to burn myself on recording. So this, you can actually, like, oh, not done enough. You can pinch and twist when it gets warm enough. Let's pull it out. So as you twist it, it sort of replicates a flame. Then you just trim off any flash, and you've got like one miniature candle. And it doesn't look all that good until you sort of paint it up a little bit, but you get a few of those in a row. It's easy peasy, candle squeezy. Here at the end, squodge it on a counter till it goes hard. Then, I mean, there's no need to be precise about how long you're cutting these things anyway. Because, yeah, candles will be all different lengths, and remember, like if you're doing like tabletop fantasy RPGs, a lot of them are based in sort of like historical times, and candles were made by hand, so that's not exactly a big issue about consistency. But, snip up the excess. Do a couple more of these, then I might try to put them onto something like a candle stand or something. I'll have to think about what that's going to be made of. Now, like I was saying, because these are old-fashioned candles, and they're supposed to look used, or lit at least, a nice thing to do to give them a little bit more detail is to use the PLA pen and just run a little bit of extra down the side. And what I did to bring out the detail on my previous candles that I've done is I just used a little bit of Surf and Sepia over the top, and then once it was in the recesses, cleaned the brush, and then just used the side of the brush, the clean brush, to pull off the excess from the surface and neaten it back up, so you got the white with a slight yellow tinge, and it just looks a lot more authentic to what like beeswax candles sort of look like. I was quite pleased with that. That was quite a good one. I thought I cooked it up. A bit cartoony on the flame, but you know, you get it. There we go, yeah, you can see that just fine. Right, so into show you one of those beads, or Or shall I use beads from elsewhere? These glorious beads. No, they're all shit. Don't like those beads. I don't like them! These are all a bit rubbish. Not really what I need, but do one of them. Never take anything out of the drawer, it will never go back in straight. Alright, so funky little bead which spins weirdly. Super glue. Now PLA takes super glue really easy, which is nice. I'm just gonna he says, hopefully I'll have to fucking get some needle into this or something, but what's wrong with you? Why don't you do what you told when you asked? So, stick that one in the middle. Well, this is only just a display piece to show you what they're sort of like, so I'm not going to be too funny about positioning and stuff. And this is crap anyway, but never mind. That's another thing as well, you can just pull it straight off because it's a metallic bead. Apparently one of our neighbour's children is being weird outside. I mean, what I've done before was I just used some cards, so I think that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to cut a small chunk of card. Cut it into a vague round. That wasn't very good, it's tied off good. There we go. Just super glue it onto there. And then when I want, I can paint how I like. But since this is me showing you how, I'll give it 5 minutes, let that cure, and then I'll paint the tip and drizzle down the side. I mean, these will make absolutely excellent dungeon dressing. Am I still on? Still on? Woo. Sure. No. Bloody hell. I'll fix a good tea in the meantime. But yeah, another cool thing this does. And I actually edit the end of this so I had more nozzle to work with, because it just they don't give you enough, because it's like a child's toy almost. You know, they don't want you burning yourself on it, so they want you to be all protected and stuff. But, God, the quality of the stream's really low. Hi JJ Nari. But yeah, another cool thing you can do is basically draw with it. So obviously you need to make sure that you flow right, otherwise it goes a bit lumpy. Don't really know what I'm doing here. But, yeah. longer on the other thing. But it's a good way to get long, thin filaments and just glue it and stretch it out. Shouldn't have done it onto paper really, but you can like peel it off pretty much instantly, which is fun. I mean, I don't mind wasting it. It's just cheap crap, but it will not go to waste. I'll pack it into something else. But I think that's what this piece of glass is supposed to be for. So it's like yeah, peel off mask for application. So hello everybody. It's nice to have some people here. Just been talking to myself for 20 minutes, but there's nothing new there. But yeah, so I've basically been through the basics of what this thing does and how it works. I've shown how you can make the tiny candles, which is crook of the elbow save, which is pretty good. But I'm thinking what I might need to do is print something off like a candlestick holder and try and do that. But for now, I'm gonna like try and freehand it. So I'm gonna turn down the flow rate on this and see what that's like. That's a little bit better. So just trying to go for something quite simple. I've been too slow. Yeah, you can see what I was going for, but quite weird. Yeah, doing it onto this stuff. It's supposed to be glass, but it doesn't feel like glass. It feels more like acrylic. And since it looks like it's actually marked it somehow. Yeah, I think it's actually some kind of acrylic, which is a bit crap. But I didn't invent this product. Yeah, about as smooth as Egyptian whiskey. Sorry if my comments are a little bit out of time. Let's keep checking the second screen. Oh, that's crap. Right, to the people who came up with this, you guys need to like figure out what you're about, because it's not about making useful stuff. Let's try the other side. Yeah, some seems to be working a little bit better, but it's a bit weird, isn't it? Why would you make something that's not going to be able to be used on one side? Absolutely absurd product management. Well, how else am I supposed to test its glass other than just smashing it? I mean, at this point I would quite happily smash it. But NT makes everything better. But yeah, I don't know if you guys actually saw the whole thing about the press molds. That was the polymer clay mold that I made. I just hit it with the heat gun, and then just need to heat it up and pump some PLA into it, and you can get pretty respectable prints out of it. You can see it a lot better with the in the grey. Let's see if my printer is connected. Do you don't know if it is? So that cable goes there. That cable goes there. That cable goes no. There we just need to find some paper or something. I think that'll do. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto Google Images and type in candlesticks. Right, images, old-fashioned. Right, there we go. Open image in new tab. Copy image. Let's see. See if there's paint on here, I don't even know. Yeah, there we go. Right, so paste. File. Print. Oh, hang on. That's going to be fucking huge. Oh. Yeah, because I forget how to use computers. Oh. Apparently the printer died. Or it tried to die. Well, that's a problem. That's definitely a problem. Might have to try that idea again another time. I'm like, yeah, this will work. That's simple. Printers. No, just decides to throw itself on the floor. So fuck that idea in particular. Alright, so yeah, MS Paint, MS fucking dog shit, but not as bad as this. Let's see. With the technology we can rebuild. Yeah, that's where all my nice sepia paper went. Right, I will try it one more time. Well, my printer cartridge is probably would not bandy by now. All cables are still connected, that's quite a relief. This printer is old and minging. I'll try that again. I have no idea why it decided to fly off the thing it was standing on, but that's about right for me. For preview. That is too big. So because I don't care about the size of the image. Oh. just, I don't care about how messed up the pixels get. I'm just gonna squidge this down. It's just a template. Oh god, that is one ugly looking thing. Press that, make sure it doesn't go too wampy. File, print preview. This is just how bad I am with computers. Yeah, go on, print it again, see if it blows up this time. Peace out, Chipper. Right, no luck is missing anything. So I have got a really crap printout because I think I knocked me printer thing bandy. But this is basically the crux of what this thing does. Let me bring you closer. Let me bring you closer, child. Don't fear. Action music. It's really not action music, because all I'm doing is just like compressing the legs on my tripod so that I can sit you on my desk. God almighty, my desk is such a mess. Alright, let me just check to see if the stream's viewing it properly. Get the light back where it's needed. Yeah, please. So. So what the idea is that you're supposed to be able to just draw over this and like get what you need. So I'm not sure how well it's going to work. Let's find out. This is going to be way oversized. Of course I'd need to do the same in the other direction. Yeah, still got a bit of weird pull away. Yeah. Looks like a bloody crossbow. Not ideal, but I think the problem is that the glass doesn't really actually pick up texture, so it doesn't actually grip it. See, there again, it did it again. That is frustrating. Frustrating as hell. But I don't give up that easy. I'll just see if this glass actually... Yeah, and the ceramic nib does scratch the glass as well, so that's something else to watch out for. So I'm thinking like ironwork, you know, wrought iron work for like gates and stuff. That might be a good idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw one out real quick. So like sort of medieval gate, like a graveyard or some shit. Let's see how that goes. Probably going to be awful, but primarily what this thing is designed for. Yeah, get the glass over it. That's frustrating. sweet in the way it sort of picks itself back up. Come on. Oh, that was helpful. So if you want to get like a weird splodgy squiggle, it's a pretty good way to go about it, because these things are stuck, but then they're not stuck. It's like, are you on there or aren't you? I don't know. I'll figure it out. But one way or another, I'll put that bad boy to rest for a minute. Like I said on the title of this is an experiment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this PLA out of here. Got that PLA out. Then I'm going to put some of this PLA in. Pump it until the grey is gone. The weirdest thing about this 3D printer pen is that it continually makes this weird beeping noise. Don't know if you can hear that. It's like, I think it's something to do with the heating coil or something, but wow, I've gone super weird and melty pixel. That's absolutely bizarre. Don't know what happened there. Oh, there we go. There we go, nice transition from grey to white. So, God, this stream is degraded, something fierce. That is awful. What is wrong with you? Why you got such a crap signal? You can't see what I'm doing. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically just stick some of this gut on the side. I'm probably gonna pull that bit off, if I'm honest. I think the flow rate is a little too high. So that's the thing with these. You have to get your flow rate right well. And because this is a simple model, it doesn't give you a readout on the side or anything. So that's a bit better. That's like super slow. And you can just like dress the top bit back in. And a little bit like working with a hot glue gun, you do tend to get a couple of wisps, which is a little bit frustrating. But literally just whack it up with the lighter, and all those wisps just disappear. Now you can probably see what I'm trying to do here. I'm hoping. But, fun thing about this stuff is as well that you can use any heat source to sort of edit it. So, you know, I've got the soldering iron on it, you know. You can like heat it, cool it and reheat it. As long as you're not actually setting fire to it, you get very little degradation of the actual surface or colours or anything, so because it has to be heat stable. So yeah. So always dock your pen, kids. I don't know if you can see that, but either way, I'm going to do is just quickly wisp away. It's all good. It's all gravy. And then what I'm going to do is hit it up with some of that styrofoam sepia like I was talking about earlier. Which is easy peasy. Use this manky water just to soften and brush up a little bit. Water it down a little bit. So when you go over it, it's going to be like really dark. It's going to look too much, and you're going to be like, oh, I don't like it. I don't like brown candles. They look like they've been in somebody's bottom. But they haven't. Not yet, anyway. So just lash it on all over it. And then wash the old brush out. And then just go over the top. Just brush off, throw it on the floor. Brush off all the surface stuff. It leaves just a mild staining on the outside, but it leaves the recesses quite well highlighted or low lighted, whatever. And before you know it, you've got some respectable looking traditional wax candles. I think it looks a little bit better like that. Not my phone is picking it up properly. There we go. It's a bit better. Alright, so from there, what I did last time was I just got Flash Kits yellow and worst mix ever, but I don't really care at this point. Literally just straight out the pot. Just slap it onto the flames. You don't have to be particularly careful. I mean, you can use any yellow you like. I'm using Flash Kits yellow because it's got good coverage and a lot of yellow paints don't. So now they're highlighted. All I need to do is a buzz. All I need to do is basically wait for that to dry and then hit up the bases with a little bit of orange Sharpie, and it really brings them to life. So yeah, so I hope that that's a little bit more informative than these shitty candlestick holders. But I'm thinking there's a lot more uses for the clear PLA, because and I did make like a whole load of flames to go onto the top of something just to have a look at it. But this one does work. Yeah, so this one works. Where is the bit? I might have thrown it in the bin actually. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, the clear PLA is pretty easy to work with. Hi Landveda, good to see you. Just not sure how long ago that comment came up, but I'm not really keeping track, so sorry if I missed you for 5 seconds. Just making these miniature candles out of PLA wire, PLA filament. This is like the finished article. Don't know if you saw it before. Just checking the screen. Yeah, they look alright. So, I mean, I'll get some higher quality photos up onto my Facebook page. If you're not on the Fantasy Forge on my Facebook page, feel free to come and join, because it's a place where I should be from now on, posting more regular pictures of what I'm doing. A little bit in the dark at the moment because there's a project that I'm working on, but and I'll give you a sneaky peeky since you people are actually tuning in. These are my advanced braziers. Now, you may have remembered a couple of weeks ago I did the braziers for just like the tinfoil balls in the bottom of the coat cap. It's pretty basic. I'm just going to change this angle a little bit so you can see me. Don't know why you'd want to see me. Rearrange this lighting so that I am actually lit. There we go. So, excusing my pit stains. This was the prototype that I made of my advanced braziers. So, you know, just working off of the concept of a little button battery like this, right? When you take, like, this is one that an LED that I cocked up. I mean, these things got really brittle legs on them because they're cheap, but like, I've just soldered a bit of extra wire on, and literally these things don't need any other components. It's just like, get the right leg on the right place and boff, it's off. So with that in mind, why would you overcomplicate things and make your circuit any bigger than it needs to be? So my idea was to strip it down to as least as possible and then dress it back up. So, I mean, using a Coke bottle was just because everything fitted. I mean, I've got one around here somewhere. Oh God, why can I never find what I'm looking for? Why do I tidy up? The answers to all of these questions and possibly none of the above. Keep watching. Christ on a bike. Lost it again. Never mind. Yeah, so these things, they fit into the actual neck of a Coke bottle so perfectly that it's just ridiculous not to use that sizing. But yeah, so, oh, sorry about the noise. The Polaroid pen's decided that it's been sat there too long. Didn't want to play anymore. Are we done? Silence. So, like I was saying, it's pretty easy, pretty simple circuit. The top screw part of your Coke bottle that goes into the lid is the bit that houses all the guts and the LED. That's literally it. The bottom part completes the circuit. So you've got literally a piece of tin foil to extend the base of the positive pole for the flat edge of the battery, and that sits in the middle, and then your battery, flat side down, sits right in that little rubber washer that's there to stop the gas and liquid escaping from the bottle. It fits perfectly, right? You've got one leg reaches out onto the edge of this plastic. You can hardly see it, but it's there. And then you've got the one leg poking down for the middle. So that's your positive, that's your negative. All you need to do is line it up, screw it in. He says, buggering up the screwing. And there you go. I mean, I just knock these lights off a little bit so you can see it. And that's it. I mean, you know, the rest of it's just dressing up. And it's just a single flickering LED. I mean, I've got it so that it looks like there's some hot coals and all that sort of stuff. This is the build video that I'm currently working on. It's the time budget has just run completely over because, truth be told, I cocked up while I was building. I mean, I built a second prototype which basically just needs dry brushing, and it's a much nicer build, honestly. So I'm going to have a few of these dotted around. You know, it's as easy as turning on and off, like just twist it. But, you know, while I was building it, because I was having to film, I got myself all confused, and I ended up gluing the wrong thing to the wrong thing in the wrong order, and I was just like, ah! But, brace yourself for a flash. But yeah, so I think that there'll be a video worth doing properly. But I mean, I'm actually having to strip the base that I was working on because I spray painted it in the wrong order. So I got one step ahead of myself, and of course glue doesn't necessarily stick to spray paint. So always plan your goddamn project properly. And you know, I think with my current technology limitations, you know, I have to do everything with my phone. It basically just ate into so much memory because I had so many clips. I was like, oh, the processing was an absolute nightmare. So, other than that, the boring stuff out of the way. Do you like the project? Are you looking forward to the video? If so, feel free to let me know. And if you've got any suggestions to stuff like that, feel free as well. Yeah, I mean, it's got more steps than you might have thought. Land, you know, it's not a mega build, to be honest. I mean, I've seen your fireplace build, and I saw your, which one was it? I didn't see the corner flaming things yet, but that's on the to watch list. But yeah, I really liked your fireplaces. They look good. So it's nowhere near as big of a build as that, but when you're filming things out of sequence because you're cocked up, it makes life a lot easier, a lot more difficult. So for me, I could have made my life a lot easier just by doing it right first time, but you know, these things happen. You see, this is the problem, right? I've actually got a HTC One M8, and that's not a bad camera, but I got my new phone, which was about a year ago, which was the Pixel XL, and it shoots in 4K, so you can make absolutely beautiful videos, but it doesn't have that much internal storage, and you can't up it. There's no SD card slot, and I misbelieved that it did when I got it. So it wants everything to store on the cloud, so it limits your internal storage, and it just crippled me. I should go back to using my old phone, but you know, once you get used to the higher resolution, it's a bit of a to go back. But that's why I started doing the short 5-minute videos, because I can keep my file sizes down. But you know, what's the point in shooting in 4K if you can't film more than like 2 minutes of like actual phone crashing? It's absolutely ludicrous piece of technology. Great idea, executed badly. And in fairness, that's how you could describe most of my life. But here's an idea that does work well. Did you like that segue right through there? So if you take an orange Sharpie, now that the flash gets yellows pretty much dried, just touching around the base and lifting up, you can get the sort of nice candle heat effect, because you know they always different colour at the base, aren't they? Always orange around the base and yellow to the tip. I've done this particularly well, to be honest. I think when I hit it with the lighter, I might have taken a lot of the detail off of the tips. But you know, for like a little bit of table dressing, I don't think that's too bad a representation for candles. Yeah, I mean, when you can film straight into SD card, it does make life a lot easier. I mean, I use KineMaster because it's really smooth, really nice app to be recording stuff on, but it can pull files from your cloud, but if you're trying to do that and you pull down, like, say I recorded 30 minutes on the other phone and I wanted to pull it over from the cloud, I could do that pretty easy. But then it's the file size coming in which block up the phone. So what I have to do is I have to sort of like figure out things in like 5-minute chunks if I want to do anything longer, because for like 5 minutes of good footage you've probably got half an hour's worth of film. Once you've edited out all the crap, while it's still got a bit of processing room, what I have to do is basically make it out that it's a finished product and export it, and then clear out all the footage that went into making it so that I've got more memory to play with, and then sort of work from there, go back into it, because it compresses the file right down, makes life a little bit easier. But still, if I'm not careful on how much memory I'm using, it's an absolute nightmare. Anyway, just in case you guys didn't see earlier, to make the candles, you just heat up the base of some PLA filament. Okay, use a lighter, doesn't have to be technical, and then just like once it's hot, just stub it out like you would a match, and then just hold it. Okay, and it forms like a little pool, and the stem goes into it. It looks like the base of a candle, or like a wine glass or something. You know, maybe that's something I can do. There's an idea, because I do have this this clear PLA, and once it's actually, it looks quite foggy when you hold it up to the light, but then once it's actually been processed, it comes out like glass clear. So that might be something to do. But yeah, so I'll cut this to size. Then the whole thing is, you light the top basically. Well, not light it, but heat it up. You've got to wait for a little bit, because you don't want to get it too close and set it on fire. Then just pinch and twist like that. What you'll end up with is a funny little paddle on the top, but if you snip that off, and that's your candle. And it's that simple. I mean, I was thinking, you know, you could perhaps do this if you can't get hold of PLA, or if you don't want to go to the trouble of buying some. And it's actually pretty cheap from Amazon. I mean, it's like what, £9 for like all the colours on Amazon Prime. So I was thinking you could do something similar with cocktail sticks and potentially hot glue, but I know my hot glue gun isn't on because I'm a turd and I didn't bother to put it on. So let me plug that in. If I crank that onto high, that should be hot in a couple of minutes. But yeah, so, you know, thinking about dungeon dressing and stuff and keeping like a little bit of realism. I like to see like I like there to be a light source in the room if you know where the light's coming from. I mean, one thing that I was thinking about doing was this is one of my older style tea lights, this one, and you know I failed electronics quite badly, but it seems that you know the resistor. I wish I still remembered what the ohms meant on it, but I'm gonna cannibalize one of the other ones I've got in my drawer because I like that one. Who's my mate? Right, so this one looks like a crap one. So no, actually, I came up with the idea for the PLA candles by myself. I know they say there's no such thing as an original thought, but apparently I had one. I don't think anyone else has done it. So yeah, there will be a short tutorial on this. I don't know if it's going to be one of my take 5, or if I was thinking I might do some even shorter videos, some like real quick ones. Get a few ideas together and just like fire out like a whole bunch of short videos like over the course of like a weekend or something, and then those batteries have degraded in my hands. It's lovely. I feel like corrosive chemicals in your skin. But yeah, so just fire out a whole load of these really short dungeon dressing ones that are like not even 5-minute crafts, because they'll be real easy to produce, just like one shot, just edit it down. But yeah, so I mean, feel free to start using them. But yeah, I will be doing a tutorial on that, hopefully, in the foreseeable future. But I'm glad you like the idea anyway. That yeah, feels good. Makes it a little bit worth it. Because there's nothing worse than doing stuff that you don't know if people are going to like it or what have you. So, just trying to figure out. I should just get my soldering iron involved, but I've got enough stuff plugged in here. So, goes from the positive there into here. So, if I just cut that there. Alright. If I just cut that bit under there. So then I want to cut that leg off. Click it to the on position. I want to see if this will run on a single battery. Because if it will, I've got an idea. So it does not look like it will, which is a bit of a bugger. So don't know if that's actually going to work, if these batteries are any good or if they're knackered or what, but and this is all highly technical stuff, as you can tell. I have absolutely no clue when it comes to electronics. I've anything I knew I forgot. I just didn't need it. Did not need it. So, oh, by the way, in case you're wondering, you know, I haven't had any Colombian drug dealers around my house. It's baking powder. It's a nice little tip that I picked up from first, like I saw it on like I think it was Luke's APS, and then like the very next day saw almost the exact same tutorial on not miniature train domain, was it? No, it was whichever one is like Uncle Atom. He did like almost an identical tutorial, like, but I'd only seen it the next day. And basically, if you're making miniatures and you're using any kind of super glue, you know, they call it CA glue a lot in the hobby. For some reason, they don't like saying super glue. But if you're using CA glue, aka super glue, when you put a little bit of baking powder onto the fresh glue, it actually like crystallizes like super fast, giving you like that bond and strength. It still needs to cure out a little bit, but I mean, it's something that I've been using quite a bit now. Not for actual miniatures, because I think for miniatures you're gonna have to sand it down anyway, and if you're gonna spend the time sanding it, you might as well just like glue it neatly in the first place. But that said, for terrain stuff, it actually works a treat. So it works with 3. Now I'm going to remove one. Any progress on the 2-story house? Actually, no, not yet. I mean, I say no. It's one of those mini projects I had to put to one side for the greater good. But I came up with these. That's the one from the tutorial. Came up with these nice sort of buttressed beams. So these just sort of slide into the side. I've had a go at texturing this one up. But yeah, so these go in to give you a bit more visual depth, rather than just a little stump coming out. These ones all sort of buttress down and give you the illusion that it's actually sitting on the building below. Realistically, the building below is going to be like here, so if I was going to do them to meet right up with it, I'd have to make them that bit bigger. But I think for like the visual, you don't necessarily need them to actually butt up. They're not going to have any weight on them or anything. But what do you think of the that style buttress or beam or whatever it's called? I mean, the bit on the bottom's a little bit flimsy because this hasn't been treated yet, but once it's got a bit of Mod Podge and paint on it, it should firm up. Cheers, I'm glad you like it. There will be some traction on that project fairly soon. I just want to get this Braziers video out of the way and done, because it's a bit of a pain in the ass for me, actually. You know, I really enjoyed making them, and this video has sucked all the joy out of it. So it'll work with 2. Okay. But it won't work with 1. Okay. So, I don't even know what voltage these are. It should say on the bottom somewhere. What's this? Alkaline cell, AGW, L1154. That's it. So, realistically, all you need to get these working is your resistor, and going it the wrong way. So that could be quite good for like something quite compact, but I will look into the technicals of that and try and get something a little bit more interesting out of it, because I'm thinking if I can strip it down to like a single battery, it would make illuminated dungeon dressings that much easier. I mean, with the clear PLA, I mean, you can do all sorts of stuff. Like I was thinking about doing some clear candles, but you know, I'm not gonna go too far down that rabbit hole until I know that I can get the power from like a very small power source. I might have to get a slightly higher voltage one, like ones they use for hearing aids and stuff. They tend to be high voltage, I think. Either way, back to the non-PLA candles. So what I'm going to do is see. Right, so pull that wisp off. Where's my brush gone? That should paint up a tree. God, I got a big skanky wisp on the end of that I didn't see. So, what do you reckon? I don't know if my hand made that worse or better. Yeah, I think that works. Thank you, Land. Yeah, I'm not going to give up on that tutorial because, quite frankly, I don't give up that easy. And I can't let it beat me because it is a project that I really like. I'm just getting a bit tired of technical limitations, but it's just at this point there's no point in investing too much money in the actual setup because look, we've got you guys here, which is awesome, but generally speaking, I've got 3 people on a live stream, which is alright, not knocking it. 3-4 people is cool, but like my channel is under 100 at the moment, and I'm not ready to invest money in a channel that doesn't have at least a couple hundred subscribers. I'm not saying that it's not worth investing in, it's just I don't have the money. I certainly don't expect other people to fund my lunacy, so I won't be doing a Patreon or anything like that, or GoFundMe or Go Fuck Me or whatever the fucking thing's called. But I think that for now there is definitely still mileage in what I'm doing, and I will persevere because I think that having more minds in the community that are ready to give back and put the time into videos is a lot better than just having people in the community who are happy to showcase what they've done, but then not show people when they have an original idea. I know there's a lot of new people doing their channels, and that's all cool and stuff. No one's got the time to watch them all, so I don't expect masses of viewers. But as long as the people that I'm making content for are interested in watching it, as long as I can keep it original, I'm happy to continue. And if for some unknown reason people decide that they like my stuff and it takes off, I will invest in better equipment and we can have more videos more often. But just gotta keep our head down around a full-time job, and family time. It's hard to make the time, but either way, I've just wrapped a little bit of masking tape around that to take the colour of, like, the same sort of candly colour rather than like bleach white or toothpick brown, and I think that's a passable candle. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drizzle a little bit of this down the side. Sounds like my other half sound. So, yeah. dog's scratching around, a lot of giggling. That's what family's for, eh? Things that make you smile. Nothing makes people smile like a dog. So that has got like a bit of drizzle wax down the outside. To be honest, I'll probably have to paint that with some kind of off-white for you to see it. Oh God! Why is mixing paint such an undignified thing? Oh God! Hi.
Are you still live?
Yeah.
Sorry. Daz is doing a live stream on YouTube. Who's watching?
We've got Kos. We've got one of the guys, Land Vader. He's whose channel I was watching the other day. So yeah, a couple of people interested in my stuff. So just running some ideas. But yeah, sorry about that. What I'll do is I'll knock a bit of colour onto it and then I'll probably stop. But I hope that the PLA filament is something that you'll think about using, because I think, short of having to get to grips with the actual pen, which can be a bit temperamental, the actual material itself is got a lot of potential. So that's the hot glue on the cocktail stick, and I just like whacked a little bit of pallid witch flesh over it, which is sort of like a grey white, and just colours up the clear glue that I put on it. So I'm going to put that to size. And I will pop that onto a little bit of card. What I'm going to do, now that's glued on there, just going to lift that glue up a little bit onto the base. And I think we've got another small candle. And just put a little bit of orange on the bottom. I think that'll do as a proof of concept anyway. But yeah, so hope you like it. Booyakasha! Just reading some comments. Don't even think about birthday and Christmas presents. Oh, so I think for now I'm going to call that time on this stream. I'm not even sure how long I've been going, but thank you all for visiting today into the forge. Hope to have at least had some good ideas and whetted your appetite for the upcoming eventual upcoming release of my advanced braziers. If you have any ideas for stuff that you'd like to see me try, or if there are things that you want to discuss, you can head over to the Fantasy Forge 1, I think it is, on Facebook. It's just the page where I do everything. You can send me messages directly on there and check in to see if I've got any new stuff coming up. But other than that, just one more comment. Yeah, no, it's true. Inadequate equipment does suck, but I may well be upgrading at least my phone when the contract comes up, so may well get something better in the short term at least, until such time as I have enough subs to make it worthwhile upgrading and putting any real money into it. But that is the last I will say on the subject for today, because I'm going to get out of here. I hope you at least enjoyed the stream, and I'll see you later. Adios. Goodbye. I'm gonna turn this off. Bye.